If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, eating well, trying to stay consistent, keeping everything on track, but your energy still feels unreliable or harder to sustain than it used to, you're not imagining that. And you're not doing anything wrong. Hi everyone, Michelle Scher here from Personalised Health and Wellbeing Solutions. And this is something that I see with the women I work with all the time. They're really capable ladies. They're very responsible and they're very used to following through, to achieving. But over time, something starts to shift. They find that their energy dips earlier. Their focus seems transitory and their patience shortens. And there's often a quiet question underneath it all. Why does this feel harder than it should? That expectation we put on ourselves. Most women are taught to look at this through the lens of their habits, what they're eating, how often they're exercising, how disciplined they are. And while those things matter, they absolutely matter, they sit inside something much larger, and that's your environment. Your nervous system is constantly responding to the conditions around you, the pace of your day, how often you're interrupted, how many decisions your brain is processing at any one time, the emotional tone of your responsibilities, the amount of recovery built into your evenings, for example. And much of this is happening below your conscious awareness. So you can be doing all the right things, but if your environment is too fast, too reactive, or constantly demanding of you, your system will go into an adaptation to that stressor first. At first, those adaptations will be subtle. You might notice your energy dips slightly earlier, or you might feel easily irritated by things that never used to bother you. Sleep might feel lighter or less restorative. And they're easy signals to just dismiss. You just put them down to, I'm a bit stressed, it'll be okay. And many women assume that they simply need to be more disciplined or more organized. But over time, those signals become harder and harder to ignore. Fatigue will become more consistent until you get to that bone-weary exhaustion. Focus becomes less reliable. You just can't seem to sit and focus on something. Your tolerance for stress shortens. And this is the point where women begin saying, my body just isn't cooperating with me anymore. What's usually happening is something much more understandable. Your nervous system has been adapting to a sustained load. Your body has been doing its best to keep up with all of those conditions around it. And eventually it starts signaling that these conditions may need to change. At this point, most women's instinct is often to try harder. So they'll do a new routine, they'll institute a stricter schedule, or they'll find another strategy to optimize their energy. But nervous systems rarely stabilize through pressure. They stabilize through predictability, through rhythm. Your body responds incredibly well to signals that tell it what to expect. Consistent sleep timing, clear transitions between work and rest, moments during the day where your system can genuinely downshift. When rhythm becomes predictable, your nervous system load begins to reduce. When that nervous system load reduces, energy becomes more reliable again. And this is why understanding the conditions that your body is responding to is so important and so powerful. Once you start to begin seeing those patterns clearly, you can start adjusting. And often those adjustments don't need to be dramatic. Small environmental shifts can create surprisingly meaningful changes in how your body feels. If this conversation is resonating, we will be exploring this much more deeply in our upcoming workshop. The workshop is called When Your Body Stops Cooperating: Why Capable Women in Midlife Reach a Biological Tipping Point, and the 3 shifts that restore sustainable energy. Inside the workshop, we look at why the body begins signaling in the first place, how the nervous system load builds over time, and what actually helps restore steadiness. So if you have been noticing changes in your energy, in your focus, in your resilience, and wondering what's behind them, you are very welcome to join us. Simply comment aligned in the comments below, and we'll send the workshop details to you. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.